Chosen one. Something has already shifted and your spirit felt it before your mind could explain it. This is not a random moment. You didn't scroll into this by accident. Heaven has aligned this exact second for you because a sudden shift is unfolding around your life and it carries the weight of divine provision. Anointed one. What is coming is not just increase. It is assignment, resources meeting purpose after a long season of quiet preparation. As it is written in Ecclesiastes 3:1, there is a time for every purpose under heaven, and your time is no longer delayed. You have been trained in hidden places for what is about to arrive quickly. Stay with this message, and if your spirit recognizes this moment, subscribe so you don't miss what heaven is revealing next, because what is coming will require you to be ready. Chosen one, there is a reason your spirit has been unsettled lately, and it is not because something is wrong with you. It is because something is changing around you faster than your natural mind has fully accepted. For a long time, you learned how to survive on little. You learned how to make careful decisions, how to carry private burdens, how to keep showing up even when the numbers did not favor you, even when the answer did not come quickly, even when you had to smile through pressure that no one else could see. But now the Lord is dealing with you at the level of preparation, not merely preservation. That is why this moment feels weighty. That is why your heart senses movement before your eyes can explain it. Anointed one, sudden wealth in the hands of a person who has not been prepared can become confusion. But sudden wealth in the hands of one who has been refined by God becomes provision with purpose. This is what you must understand at the beginning of this world. What is approaching your life is not shallow increase, not empty applause, not a passing flash of comfort. It is a divine assignment wrapped in provision. The blessing carries responsibility inside it. The door carries a calling inside it. The increase carries people, decisions, stewardship, and influence inside it. This is why heaven did not rush the process. There were seasons when you thought you were being overlooked, but you were actually being trained in hidden places. You were learning how to remain soft when life became hard. You were learning how to honor God when the reward had not yet appeared. You were learning how to stretch what was in your hand without letting bitterness take root in your heart. That mattered more than you knew. When you gave thanks for small mercies, heaven took notice. When you remained honest in lack, heaven took notice. When you chose prayer over panic one more time, heaven took notice. Nothing was wasted. Not the long nights, not the silent disappointments, not the private obedience that no one celebrated. And here is the deeper truth. The Lord was shaping your inner world before expanding your outer world. Because if the soul is unstable, increase only magnifies fear. If the heart is wounded, abundance can become another burden instead of a blessing. So God has been strengthening your foundation like a builder reinforcing a house before the sudden rain comes. The rain is not the danger when the structure is sound. In the same way, rapid change will not destroy you when your identity is anchored in Christ. This is why the waiting season was not empty, it was construction. You may have wondered why you could feel both hope and hesitation at the same time. Part of you longs for relief. Part of you still remembers the pain of lack. Part of you is ready to receive. Part of you is still learning how not to brace for disappointment. The Lord understands that tension. He is not rebuking you for it. He is healing you through it. He is teaching you that provision from His hand does not come to replace dependence on Him, but to deepen it. As spoken in Habakkuk 2:3, though the vision tarries, wait for it because it will surely come. And when it comes, chosen one, it may move faster than the season that prepared you for it. Because what happens next is not just about receiving more. It is about becoming the kind of vessel that can carry more without losing peace. You are beginning to notice it now. Even if you cannot fully explain it, the way your thoughts are shifting, the way your expectations are no longer anchored in survival, but are quietly stretching towards something greater. This is not imagination. This is alignment. Anointed one, heaven is not only preparing provision for you, it is retraining the way you think so that when the increase arrives, you will not shrink back from it or mishandle it out of fear. For a long time, your life required caution. You had to measure every decision, weigh every expense, and carry responsibility in silence. That kind of pressure leaves an imprint. It teaches you to expect delay, to anticipate lack, to guard yourself from disappointment. But what God is doing now is gently breaking that pattern. He is teaching your mind how to receive without guilt and how to hold without fear. Because many can pray for abundance, but not many can rest in it when it finally comes. There is a quiet recalibration happening within you. You may find yourself thinking differently about opportunities, sensing a new kind of clarity when decisions appear, even feeling less attached to outcomes that once caused anxiety. This is not accidental. The Holy Spirit is refining your discernment so that you can recognize what is aligned with your calling and what is simply noise disguised as opportunity. Not everything that shines is meant for you, and not every open door carries peace. The wealth that is coming will not require you to compromise who you are or disconnect from God to sustain it. This is where many people lose their way. They receive increase, but they lose their center. They gain access, but they lose their peace. But your journey has been different. You were taught how to stay grounded before you were ever elevated. You learned how to be content before you were entrusted with more. That training is now becoming your protection. Because when God blesses, He does not leave you exposed. He surrounds you with wisdom, with timing, with restraint, and with a quiet knowing that guides your steps. You will not have to chase what is meant for you. That is important to understand. There will be opportunities that appear quickly, doors that open without struggle, connections that seem almost unexpected. But each one that is truly from God will carry a signature. It will come with peace, not pressure. It will align with your values, not challenge them. It will strengthen your relationship with Him, not distract from it. This is how you will know the difference. And as this shift continues, you must release the belief that lack is a sign of holiness. Poverty is not proof of deeper faith, and struggle is not a requirement for worthiness. God delights in seeing His children thrive, especially when their lives reflect His goodness and not their own striving. The increase that is approaching your life is meant to testify that He did not forget you, that your obedience in hidden seasons was seen, and that your patience was not in vain. At the same time, this is not a moment to become careless. It is a moment to become aware, because wealth amplifies what is already within you. If there is peace inside you, it will multiply. If there is generosity inside you, it will expand. If there is wisdom inside you, it will guide you. And the Lord has been placing these things inside you slowly, intentionally over time. You are not just being prepared to receive. You are being prepared to manage, to multiply, and to distribute according to divine direction. This is why your prayer life will remain essential, because when resources increase, the need for guidance increases with it. Decisions will carry more weight, influence will reach further, and your ability to remain anchored will determine how sustainable the blessing becomes. There is something else you need to recognize. The speed of this shift may feel unfamiliar. After seasons of waiting, sudden movement can feel almost disorienting. Doors that once seemed impossible may open quickly. Situations that felt stuck may resolve faster than expected. And in those moments, your stability will matter more than your excitement. God is teaching you how to remain calm in the face of rapid change, so that your peace protects what your blessing introduces, because what is coming will not define who you are, and it will not become your identity. Your identity was already established long before any financial increase appears. You are first and always a child of God. And that truth will guard you from measuring your worth by what you possess. But there is still something deeper unfolding beneath the surface. Something that will challenge not just how you receive, but how you see yourself in this new season. There is a shift happening in how you see yourself. And this may be the most important transformation of all, because before wealth can rest in your hands, it must first settle in your identity. Chosen one, for years, you may have unknowingly tied your sense of worth to what you lacked, to what had not yet happened, to how long you had to wait. You may have measured your progress against others who seemed to move faster, rise sooner, or receive more easily. And even if you did not say it out loud, There were quiet moments when you questioned whether your time would ever come. But God was never measuring your life against anyone else. He was writing something precise, something intentional, something that required a deeper foundation than what you could see on the surface. The delays you experienced were not random interruptions. They were part of a design that was strengthening you in ways that quick success never could. Because when something arrives suddenly, only a prepared heart can carry it without distortion. You are now stepping into a season where your internal understanding must match your external reality. That means you cannot carry an old identity into a new level. You cannot continue to see yourself as the one who is always behind, always catching up, always trying to prove something. That version of you was shaped in a different season. It helped you endure, but it cannot guide you where you are going now. The Lord is restoring clarity to your identity. He is reminding you that your value was never tied to your income, your opportunities, or your visible results. Your worth was secured long before any breakthrough appeared. And as this truth settles deeper into your spirit, something powerful begins to happen. You stop striving to validate yourself. You stop comparing your journey. You stop questioning whether you are ready. Instead, you begin to move with a quiet confidence that does not come from circumstances, but from alignment. This is where faith begins to replace fear in a very real way, not as an idea, but as a posture. You will notice that decisions feel different. Where there was once hesitation, there is now clarity. Where there was once anxiety, there is now calm. This is not because everything around you has changed yet, but because something within you has stabilized. And that stability is what allows you to carry increase without being shaken by it. There is also a deep gratitude forming inside you even before the full manifestation appears. You remember what it felt like to stretch small resources. You remember the prayers that came from pressure. You remember the days when even a small provision felt like a miracle. That memory is not meant to hold you back. It is meant to anchor you in humility as you move forward. Because when wealth arrives in the hands of someone who remembers, it doesn't become a reservoir, it becomes a river. And that is what God is forming in you. A flow, not a container. A life where resources move through you, touching lives beyond your immediate circle, restoring what has been broken, lifting what has been burdened, and bringing relief where there's been quiet suffering. This is why He trusts you with more. Not because of what you have, but because of how you have already chosen to live with what little you had. The world often treats money as power, as control, as status, but heaven sees it differently. In the kingdom, resources are responsibility. They are tools for impact, not symbols of identity, and you are being positioned to carry that responsibility with wisdom. That is why your mindset is shifting. You are no longer thinking only about what you can gain, but about what you can build, what you can support, what you can release into the lives of others. As this awareness grows, you will feel less driven by urgency and more guided by discernment. You will not rush into every opportunity. You will not be pulled by every possibility. Instead, you will move with intention, listening closely, waiting when needed, acting when directed. This is the rhythm of someone who is led, not pressured. But there is something else that must be understood as this transformation continues. Because as your internal world becomes more aligned, external changes will begin to follow. And not all of them will feel comfortable at first. Not every change that comes with this shift will feel easy even when it is right. Chosen one. As your life begins to move into alignment with greater provision, you will also notice movement in your environment, especially in your relationships. Some people will celebrate you genuinely and their joy will feel peaceful and sincere. Others may not understand what is happening in your life, and their confusion may show up as distance, comparison, or quiet resistance. This is not something to fear, but it is something to navigate with wisdom, because increase reveals more than just opportunity. It reveals alignment. It shows who is able to grow with you and who was only meant for a previous chapter. And the Lord is not asking you to judge anyone, but He is inviting you to remain grounded in your identity so that you are not shaken by how others respond to your elevation. Your peace cannot be dependent on approval, and your direction cannot be shaped by opinion. You have come too far in your journey to hand your confidence back to voices that do not carry your calling. At the same time, this is not a season to become guarded or distant. It is a season to become mature. You will learn how to carry both kindness and boundaries at the same time. You will learn how to say yes with clarity and how to say no without guilt. Because not every need is your assignment, and not every request is your responsibility. Wealth will expand your ability to give, but discernment will guide where and how you give, so that what flows through you creates lasting impact rather than temporary relief. There is a refinement happening in how you respond to people. Praise will come, but it will not define you. Criticism may come, but it will not destabilize you. You are learning to stand in a place where your sense of self is rooted in God's approval rather than human reaction. And the more secure you become in that truth, the less you will feel pulled by external voices. This stability is not something you are forcing. It is something that has been built through every season. You have walked through every moment when you had to choose faith without affirmation. You will also notice that your circle begins to shift in a quieter way. God will place people around you who carry wisdom, who speak with clarity, who remind you to stay anchored. These are not always the loudest voices, but they are the ones that bring peace when you hear them. They will help you remain grounded as your responsibilities grow, and they will support you in ways that align with your purpose rather than compete with it. As your resources increase, your leadership will also expand. You will be invited into decisions that affect more than just your own life, and those decisions will require a different level of awareness. This is why prayer will remain central, because when influence grows, the weight of choices grows with it. You will not be able to rely on impulse or emotion. You will need discernment that sees beyond the surface, wisdom that understands timing, and patience that allows clarity to form before action is taken. There will be moments when opportunities appear quickly, and they will look impressive, even convincing. But not everything that appears promising carries peace. You will sense the difference if you stay attentive. The Holy Spirit will guide you in quiet ways, not through pressure, but through a steady knowing. When something is aligned, it will not pull you into confusion. It will settle within you. And when something is not right, even if it looks appealing, there will be a lack of peace that you cannot ignore. Trust that inner guidance. It has been developed through every season you have walked through. It is part of your preparation, because protection is not only about what God keeps away from you, it is also about what He teaches you to recognize. And while all of this is unfolding externally, there is also something deeper happening within your heart, something that goes beyond decisions and relationships, something that touches areas you have carried quietly for a long time. What is unfolding in this season is not only external increase, it is also internal healing. Chosen one, there are places within your heart that have carried the weight of financial strain longer than you ever spoke about. The quiet stress of providing, the mental calculations that never seem to stop, the silent pressure of trying to hold everything together without breaking. These experiences shaped you in ways that few people fully understood, but God saw every detail. He heard every prayer that came from exhaustion, every moment you chose faith when frustration would have been easier, every time you kept going when you felt like you had nothing left to give. And now, as provision begins to move toward you, it is not only changing your circumstances, it is touching those hidden places within you. There is a softening happening. Areas that once carried tension are beginning to release. The constant sense of pressure that followed you is starting to lift. This is part of the blessing, because God does not bring increase into your life while leaving your heart burdened. He restores both at the same time. You may notice it in small ways at first. A greater sense of calm when you think about the future. A quiet confidence replacing the old anxiety. A feeling that you no longer have to brace yourself for what might go wrong. These are not random emotions. They are signs that your spirit is being aligned with a new reality. One where provision is not something you chase, but something you receive with trust. At the same time, this healing will bring clarity. You will begin to see situations differently. You will recognize patterns that once drained you. You will understand where you gave too much without wisdom, where you held on too tightly out of fear, and where you allowed pressure to shape your decisions. This awareness is not meant to bring regret. It is meant to bring growth because the same heart that is learning to receive is also learning to steward. There is a balance that is forming within you. Generosity will remain part of who you are, but it will be guided by discernment. You will learn that saying yes is powerful, but saying no is also necessary. You will understand that protecting what God has entrusted to you is not selfish. It is wise. And as this balance develops, your ability to sustain what you receive will grow stronger. You're not being shaped into someone who gives impulsively, but into someone who gives intentionally, someone who listens, who discerns, who understands where resources can create lasting change rather than temporary relief. This is how your blessing becomes sustainable. This is how it continues to grow without becoming a burden. There is also a shift happening in how you approach prayer. It will no longer come from a place of desperation. It will begin to flow from a place of gratitude. Instead of asking only for provision, you will begin to ask for wisdom, for guidance, for clarity in how to manage what has been placed in your hands. This change in posture will deepen your relationship with God in ways that go beyond need and move into partnership. And in that partnership, you will find a new level of peace because you will realize that you are not carrying this alone. The same God who sustained you in seasons of lack is now guiding you in seasons of increase. His presence does not diminish when your circumstances improve. It becomes even more essential. There is something else that begins to take shape. As this healing continues, it reaches beyond your internal world and begins to touch the atmosphere around you, especially in areas that were once affected by strain and uncertainty. What begins inside of you does not stay contained within you. Chosen one. As peace takes root in your heart, it starts to reshape the atmosphere around your life. Areas that once carried tension begin to soften. Conversations that were once strained begin to ease. The pressure that silently affected your relationship starts to lift in ways that feel almost unfamiliar at first. Because when lack dominates a season, it quietly influences more than finances. It touches communication, emotions, expectations, and even the way love is expressed. But now something different is unfolding. As provision approaches, restoration follows with it. You will begin to notice that interactions feel lighter. The weight that once sat between you and others begins to dissolve. Hope replaces frustration in places where discouragement once lived. This is part of the design because God does not release abundance in isolation. He restores environments so that what He gives can flourish without being suffocated by old pressure. There is also a legacy forming through this season, whether you have fully realized it yet or not. What is being placed in your hands is not only for your present moment. It carries the potential to influence lives beyond your immediate reach, even beyond your lifetime. When resources are managed with faith and wisdom, they create stability that supports others long after you have moved forward. This is how obedience today echoes into the future. You are being positioned to think differently about what you receive, not just as something to enjoy, but as something to build with, something to plant, to develop, to use in ways that create continuity and impact. The Lord sees beyond the moment, and He is inviting you to see with Him, to recognize that what feels like a personal breakthrough is also part of a larger design that extends further than you can currently measure. And as this perspective grows, humility becomes even more important because increase can create the illusion that you have arrived. But in truth, it is an invitation to grow further. There will always be more to learn, more to refine, more to understand. And God will continue to guide you gently, not with pressure, but with patience. He is not expecting perfection from you. He is looking for willingness, for faithfulness, for a heart that remains teachable. You will make decisions that stretch you. You will face moments where clarity takes time to form. But even in those moments, grace will cover you. Mistakes will not define your journey. They will refine it. Because this path is not built on flawless execution. It is built on continuous alignment. As your life expands, your leadership will deepen. You will begin to influence others not through force but through example. The way you carry yourself, the way you respond, the way you handle both increase and responsibility will speak louder than any words. People will notice the steadiness in you. They will recognize the difference even if they cannot fully explain it. And in all of this, your relationship with God remains the center. Because without Him, even the greatest success can feel empty. But with Him, even the weight of responsibility becomes purposeful. Your time with Him will not decrease as your life becomes fuller. It will become the very thing that keeps everything aligned. There is a deeper rhythm forming now, one where gratitude becomes natural, where decisions are guided by peace, where purpose becomes clearer with each step. And as you move further into this rhythm, you will begin to understand something that changes everything. What you are stepping into was never meant to replace your journey with God. It was meant to expand it. Chosen one. This is the realization that brings everything into alignment. Sudden wealth is not the destination. It is a tool within a much greater calling. It is the extension of something that began long before any visible breakthrough, something rooted in your relationship with Him, your obedience in quiet seasons, your willingness to keep going when nothing seemed to change. For a long time, your focus was survival. You prayed for relief, for stability, for just enough to make it through. And those prayers were not small. They were sacred. They were heard. But now the Lord is lifting your vision beyond that place. He is inviting you into a mindset of stewardship where you are no longer just maintaining what you have, but managing what is growing. This shift requires grace, because when you have lived in limitation for so long, abundance can feel unfamiliar at first. There may be moments where you catch yourself expecting things to go wrong even as things begin to go right. Moments where your mind tries to return to old patterns of thinking, old fears, old habits of bracing for disappointment. But those patterns are being replaced gently, consistently. The Lord is renewing the way you think so that you can live in alignment with what He is doing now, not what you experienced before. You are not being asked to earn this. You are being asked to receive it with humility and to carry it with wisdom. The same God who sustained you in scarcity is now trusting you in abundance. And that trust is not based on perfection. It is based on your heart, on your willingness to remain close to Him, to listen, to grow, to stay anchored no matter how your circumstances change. As your life opens, you will notice that there is more space to think, to create, to give, to rest. The constant pressure that once filled your mind will no longer dominate your thoughts. And in that space, something new will emerge. Ideas that were once delayed will begin to take form. Dreams that were once set aside will return with clarity. Opportunities that once felt out of reach will begin to align naturally. This is not accidental. This is what happens when provision meets preparation. When the internal work aligns with the external moment. When the timing of heaven intersects with the readiness of your life. And as this unfolds, generosity will become one of the clearest expressions of what God has done in you. Not loud, not forced, not driven by recognition, but quiet, intentional, and deeply rooted in love. You will find joy in helping others rise. You will recognize opportunities to support, to build, to restore, and you will act not from pressure, but from purpose. There will be times when the speed of change feels overwhelming, when doors open quickly and decisions come faster than you expected. In those moments, return to what has anchored you from the beginning. Return to prayer. Return to stillness. Because intimacy with God will steady your heart in ways that no strategy ever could. You are not stepping into this alone. You are walking into it with guidance, with protection, with a presence that has carried you through every previous season. The same hand that held you in uncertainty is now leading you into clarity. The same voice that comforted you in waiting is now directing you in movement. So as you stand at the threshold of this new chapter, keep your heart soft, your spirit attentive, and your gratitude alive. Because these are the qualities that will sustain what is being built in your life. What is coming is real. What is shifting is already in motion. And what you have been prepared for is finally beginning to meet you in a way that will change everything. Chosen one. What once felt scattered is now being gathered into purpose, and what once felt delayed is now aligning in perfect timing. This is your Kairos moment, a divinely appointed intersection where preparation meets provision. Nothing about this shift is accidental. Heaven has already gone before you, arranging what you could not see, positioning what you could not control, and preparing you for what is now beginning to unfold. Anointed one. The same God who sustained you in limitation is now guiding you into expansion, and you will not be overwhelmed because you have been prepared. Stay anchored, stay prayerful, stay attentive. Let peace lead your decisions and let gratitude guard your heart. What is coming will not confuse you when your spirit remains aligned. If this word has settled in your spirit, write Amen in the comments as a declaration that you are ready for this new chapter. And if you feel this message was meant for you, stay connected and subscribe so you do not miss what heaven continues to reveal along your journey. May clarity rest upon you. May wisdom guide you. And may the abundance approaching your life serve its divine purpose fully and faithfully.